Hey everyone, this is Trader AG, and in this video I'm going to explain you one of my favorite setups in crypto. I'm going to run you through from start to finish so you understand the system, you have the proof, and you have the trading plan to execute this setup this week. So this is an active setup at the moment, and I'm going to give you the trading levels and how to find them and also how to trade them right now. So it's going to be a bit more detail oriented than other videos that I've done. So if that's not your thing, I understand, you can click off the video. But if you are willing to learn a system that you can use for the rest of your life, this is the video that you should watch, because I have done a very good thing with this setup, right? I've been using it for a very long time. It works. It has very good proof from even last month. And yeah, hopefully you will like it. Now, let's get started with what the setup is. It's called the PMV setup. It's because it's called the previous month's value setup. And how that name came about is the previous month's value means the 70% of the volume generated during last month. So currently we have three levels, as you can see on the chart, and these are the only things that matter to me at the moment, right? The previous month's value area high, the previous month's value area low, and the monthly open. Now these levels, these two right here, are derived from the August value area. The value area means the 70% of the range. So these levels are the high and the low of the 70% of the volume of August. The monthly open is when we had the monthly open of September. You can see here from the 31st of August to the 1st of September, right here is the monthly open of September. And these three are the only things that you need for this setup. Now, if you want to have these levels generated for you, you can go to Exocharts, and by having our templates on your chart, you will come here and you'll see right here you have the PMVAH, which means previous month's value area high at 118578, previous month's value area low, and the monthly open generated for you without you clicking a button on Exocharts. For this, you can go to a tag team and get our templates, and you will have these at the footprint chart markers. Now, how this setup works is as it follows. I'm going to just get rid of these texts and I'm going to open up the text that matters the most. The previous month's value setup. Now, the first rule, you have to open the month outside of the previous month's value area. So in this case, we want the monthly open to be outside of the previous month's value area. And this month in September, we have that checked off. As you can see, the monthly open is below the previous month's value area low, which means it's outside of the previous month's value area. Now, this is checked off. The second one, we need to reclaim the value area with 2 consecutive 4-hour candles. Now, people love to talk about reclaim in many ways. You might have seen on Twitter, on YouTube, they talk about, hey, just go above this level or just do this. For me, and for market profiling, the reclaim means 2 consecutive 30-minute candles for the lower time frames, and for the higher time frames, it means 2 consecutive 4-hour candles. So after you open the month outside of the previous month's value area, what you're looking for is a reclaim of this value area once again, right? And if you have that reclaim, this will give you an 80% chance that we will have a full value rotation. What full value rotation means is if the month opens outside of the month's value and then gets back inside, it will give you an 80% chance that the price will magnet toward the other side of value. This has been proven by Jim Dalton in the futures markets, and it has been working for nearly 25 years now. It's not my setup, right? I've not invented it, but I've just made it better for crypto, and I've pulled the statistics over the last 5 years. Now, I hope you understand the setup because it's pretty simple, right? You just need to have these levels on your chart, the previous month's value area high, previous month's value area low, and if the monthly open is below these levels, what you're looking for is 2 consecutive 4-hour candles inside this value. And as you can see right here, we have finished 2 consecutive 4-hour candles above this level right here. You can see we have tested this once, we could not go above it. We have tested it twice, we finished 1 candle and we finished a second candle above it right here. So the setup was activated when we finished 2 consecutive 4-hour candles above the previous month's value area low. And what this gave us is an 80% chance of hitting previous month's value area high. This setup is currently active, which means we have an 80% chance of hitting previous month's value area high this month. So for the next 14 days, there's a very good chance that the trend will continue going higher. Now, this might seem like a circle circle bullshit, could sound like a scam, but I can guarantee you that it has been making me a good amount of money for the last half a decade. And if you want a proof, I'm going to give you the proof from last month, right? This is not going to be from 2021. It's not going to be from NASDAQ or gold. It's going to be from Bitcoin last month. So let's go to that chart. Now, you can see this is the chart replay. So this is not the current price action. We're not at $113,000, relax. And this is when August opened up. So what do we see here? We have the August monthly open right here at 115.670. Now, when the monthly opens, the first thing I always do is check where previous month's value area is. And in this case, if I zoom in, you'll see that the previous month's value area low is at 115.806. Previous month's value area high is at 120.070, which means the monthly open was below the previous month's value area. So at this point, is there a setup? No, because we are still below the previous month's value area. What are we looking for right now? What was the second thing that we should look out for? The first one is checked off, right? We have opened the month outside of the previous month's value area. Now that is checked off. The second one, reclaim the value area with 2 consecutive 4-hour candles. So if I just go on with the chart here, you can see that the price will continue going higher and higher. And well, okay, that was a bit too fast. Let's quickly go back on this one. So now let's go to our 4-hour chart, and you will be able to see here that the price was testing the monthly open many times. You can see we tested it on the 4th of August, and then we tested it again on the 6th of August, both ending with a rejection. At this point, right, we don't have a setup. Don't forget, before we enter the previous month's value area, there is no setup. But when the setup comes in is when we finish 2 consecutive 4-hour candles above the previous month's value area, right? So I'm going to get this one back to action because it's too far away. So reclaim the value area with 2 consecutive 4-hour candles. What do we have here? We have the first 4-hour candle close right here and the second 4-hour candle close right here. So at this moment, right, when this candle closes, there is an 80% chance that we push up to previous month's value area high during the month of August. It doesn't mean that it has to push up instantly from here. It means that there's an 80% chance that in August, we will push up to $120,000. So I'm going to go back slightly, a bit more, just so we can have a good understanding. Because as I just said, when this candle closes right here is when we had the confirmation of this previous month's value setup. Now, I'm going to go and have a trend line right here, and I'm going to write down on that one the activation candle. Right, so this is when the setup was activated. Why this matters a lot is let's go now and talk about how to trade this thing. What is the third thing? Enter the market with a stop loss at a pivot, aim for full value rotation. You might ask me, AG, what is a pivot? Well, pivot is a level where people will have a lot of stops at. So in this case, as I just said, when this candle closed right here is when we had the setup activated. However, does it mean that you can enter the market right here? Yes, it does. I know you want to hear no, but you can. Because currently, when this candle closed, the market right now is telling you, okay, there's an 80% chance that we do a full value rotation, which means if you take a setup right here, right? So what is the third thing right here we said? Enter the market with a stop loss at the pivot. So what is the closest pivot that you have? Well, it's right here. And aim for full value rotation. So here we can see if you enter the market when this setup was activated and have your stop loss below a pivot, this will give you a 1.42 risk reward ratio trade that has an 80% chance of success. This might look like a very small risk reward ratio trade to you because of how much you've seen on crypto Twitter. You might have seen 20-hour trades, you might have seen 40-hour trades, right? But that's not reality, right? That's very hard to do, especially if you're a beginner. You need setups that work, and you need setups that work consistently. This is not a setup that fails 80% of the time. It's something that if it occurs on the chart, it continues and succeeds 80% of the time. So here we go. When this happens, you have a 80% chance of winning a 1.4R trade. And again, it might sound low, but I promise you, if you dedicate yourself and if you just trade this setup for a very long time, you're gonna make money. And a lot of you, I know, does not make money. So here's a setup that works. Now, how can we make this better? Because again, for me, 1.42 was not good enough as well. But if you want to make it better, you need to use order flow. Order flow is a tool that I've been using for a very long time as well. It gives me better entries, it gives me better invalidations, and it makes my trading much easier. And how I read order flow is through Exocharts. Now, how could order flow help you in this case to make this trade much better? Well, this is what I would do. Now, after I have this setup and after I have an 80% chance of winning this setup, what I would do is that I would wait until there are bullish CVD divergences on the chart. Because if there are bullish divergences on the chart, it would mean that the percentage chance would go up, and also I might have a better entry on the market as well. Let me explain. Now, I'm going to quickly continue with this chart, and you're going to see that in the next couple candles, what we have here is the chart ends up coming back down and testing the previous month's value area low once again. So here we can see this was the activation candle, and after the activation candle, just an hour after, we ended up testing the previous month's value area low here once again. The reason why this matters is because this is here becomes a pivot on the chart as well. Now, might sound like nothing to you, but the reason that matters is because if this is a pivot, it means that you can put your stop loss below that level. And how do I know that this is a good level to put your stop loss? Well, that's the part where you need our order flow, because if I go to Exochart, what you will see on the chart as we were testing that level, right? So this is the August 7th, and the price got accepted right here inside the previous month's value. And this is that big retest that you saw of 115.7. Now, after this retest, right, what I want you to pay attention is the CVD data right here. As we can see, when this candle closes, we have negative 648 million CVD. And in this candle, we have negative 682 million CVD, which means that there are bullish CVD divergences as the price is making a higher low on the chart. If you know CVD, how it works is it counts absorption, right? So if the price is making a higher low, but the CVD is making a lower low, that is a bullish absorption. So if you saw this on the order flow inside the Exocharts, what that will allow you to do is you would have your long position, let's say around in this zone, and have your stop loss below this low, and have your target as the same target as before, which is the previous month's value area high. This would give you a 5-to-1 trade. That is much better. But again, do you need much better if you're losing money? No, you don't. This is one of those things where if you want to have 5-hour trades, you need to work harder, you need to have more education, and you just need to have more data in your hands. However, can you just do this? Can you just take the trade right there, have your main target as the previous month's value area high, and then have your stop loss below these lows? Yes, they have the same percentage win rate, right? So this would have an 80% win rate, this would have an 80% win rate. But the difference here is this would be a 5-hour trade, this will be a 1.4-hour trade. So the difference between using order flow and not using order flow is making more profits. However, if you're not making money right now, just use this setup without the order flow, and once you're good at it, you can join the tag team, have our education, and then learn how to have better entries, better invalidations, and enter the market at correct times. We have these things very sorry for that. We have these things in education inside our tag team. You can see here, if you join our community, we have educational content about tools and indicators, about Exocharts, range trading, and also the TPO market profiles. If you want better entries, better setups, and higher risk-reward ratio trades, you got to learn order flow. So now that's aside, right? Here is the proof. When you enter the market here, what you're looking for is for the price to continue. I'm not going to talk about the harder one because I think this is the one that matters to you right now. So 1.4R. And when you take it, the price continues doing that bit of bullshit here. And then in the same month, right, it completes the 1.4R setup in just a couple moments here. This was a long consolidation. Sorry for that. And here you go. Just to wait a bit more. I was gonna get rid of the replay, but I said why not? Just see it. And okay, this is taking longer than I want. Yes. Okay. Here we can see, right? You took the setup right here. Your stop loss was here, and your target was here. And this was a setup that I've been working for over 25 years. I've just made it better, right? So I don't think Jim Dalton used Bitcoin as reference. I don't think he even trades Bitcoin right now, but I do. So again, previous month's value setup. Open the month outside of the previous month's value area. Reclaim the value area with 2 consecutive 4-hour candles. And after this, enter the market with a stop loss at a pivot. Aim for full value rotation. Last month, it would have given you a 1.4-hour trade. So now, let's go to this month. What do we have? Open the month outside of the previous month's value area. Check. You can see monthly open is below the previous month's value area low. Reclaim the value area with 2 consecutive 4-hour candles. Right here. 1 candle, 2 candle. So here is when you could have enter the market. Two R. No order flow needed, no Exocharts needed, no extra information needed. This would give you 2-to-1 trade that just works. I've used it without order flow, I've used it with order flow. Obviously, it makes it better when using order flow, but even without it, this is a system that just works, right? And as you can see right now, did we hit the level yet? No, we did not. And the reason I'm making this video is because I believe there are still time to enter this market. Now, how can we enter? Good question. I'm going to give you the detailed answer first because we have to run you through how I want to enter the market based on the order flow confluence, and then how you can enter the market with no order flow and no Exocharts. Now, again, this probably will work, probably will go to previous month's value area high and it will make money. I don't know, maybe it doesn't, but there's an 80% chance. But let's talk about what we have right now. Well, the levels that I'm currently watching are in this zone right here, and I'm going to quickly get them out. Not this one, but I believe it could be this one, yeah. So we currently have a daily untapped point of control and a weekly untapped point of control below the price. And this is coming just below the Monday low. Now, what I am interested in at this point is for price to sweep these lows into the daily MPOC and the weekly MPOC and then reclaim of this zone right here. So how I am planning on trading these levels up to the previous month's value area high with an 80% chance of winning is like this. So this is our current range. And what I am planning on doing here is I am waiting until price comes down, hits my levels, right, the daily MPOC or the weekly MPOC, so something like this, price comes down, hits the daily MPOC, hits the weekly MPOC, and then reclaims this range right here. I'm waiting for price to hit this level, have a reaction, and then reclaim this range right here. And if I see this reclaim after hitting a major level on the chart, this is a pivot, this is my entry, and then this is my target, 4.4R. It's better than 2R, but it requires a lot more knowledge, because as the prices are coming down here, I will be on Exocharts looking for high negative delta, CVD divergences, and increasing open interest. I want shorts to be trapped right here. This could come in before the Fed event or it could come in after the Fed meeting. Does not matter. But I am looking for shorts to be trapped right here. I'm looking for liquidations from Monday. And if I see those, I will be entering the market on the reclaim of 114.7K. It requires order flow knowledge, but if you are inside the tag team or if you want to be joining the tag team, this is the best time to do it, because this setup might be activated, or I might be in this trade by the end of the week. So this is the one that I'm watching. However, I know that some of you don't use order flow, some of you don't want the scalp entries, or you don't want to be trading ranges that are a day old. So I'm gonna tell you what you should be doing if you're not interested in these setups. Well, what I would do if I was in your position is, first, I would realize that these setups come in basically every other month, right? You had one last month, you have one this month, and you probably will have one or two new ones by the end of the year. So I would be patient. And what I would be patient here for would be another test of the previous month's value area low. Now, tomorrow we have the Fed meeting. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know how the market will react. But in the case that the market reacts badly to the news, what we might have is we might have a big dump, just like we had right here, just like we had right here. So if you see price coming down and having a big dump after the Fed's meeting, I would stay patient here, right? If you don't use order flow, if you're not in the tag team, don't trade that $114,000 zone, because it's going to be a hard trade, right? Especially with the meeting tomorrow, with no guidance, you will have a hard time trading it. But if price decides to come down and have these levels and hit these levels right here at the previous month's value area low, I believe still this is a very good long position with an 80% win rate, right? So this will be a 2-to-1 trade. And again, you can take it up to the new all-time highs if you want to. I would not advise it. I would just advise you to take this trade and have the target stop loss like this. But you can have this trade right here, a 2-to-1 trade with no order flow knowledge if those levels come in. Now, the reason why I say if the zone comes in is because I don't care about any level inside this zone right here. So if I open those levels once again, the level that I'm interested in currently is the daily MPOC that comes in just below the price. But if this level does not have a reaction, I am instantly looking for this setup, just like you should as well, right? So this is my best entry. This is my hard entry. So that's the important part. Should you trade this one? Probably not. If you're new, if you're a beginner, don't trade this one. But if you are well experienced with order flow, you're more than welcome to use that daily MPOC and the weekly MPOC that is just below the Monday close. So right now, this is the setup that you should be aware of. And hopefully I made everything clear with this one as well. As I said, I have been explaining to you important things, right? First thing that I explained to you is a system, and then I explained you the proof, and then I gave you a trading plan that works. The reason why these videos are very, very important to you is because right now, the reason you're losing money is because you don't have a system. It's not because you're a gambler, it's not because you're an addict, it's mostly because you don't have a system. And the best way I can explain it is if I told you right now, and I hope that you played poker in the past, if you have played poker in the past, if I told you right now, for the next 20 hands, 5 of those hands, you're gonna win if you play with aces, kings, or queens, right? So other hands, you're gonna just delete them, and you're gonna 100% win. I am the casino, I'm telling you. You're gonna win your trades if you just play with aces, kings, and queens. Would you fucking play if a 3 and a 7 came in your hand? No, you wouldn't. If you knew for a fact that you have an advantage over the market with aces, kings, and queens, you would not trade with other things. And for me, this is an aces or kings kind of setup. And that's why I am very confident in not trading other levels, because I know that with volume, my chances always increase. So if you want that, if you want to learn about our systems, the tag team is the place to be. We have a very good education, and you would learn about my systems and then get the live updates needed to have the execution on these trades. So I hope I made everything clear. It was a longer video, but if you enjoyed it, if this was helpful for you, if you learned something, please leave a like. I always love seeing your support, and comment on the parts that you didn't understand, because I would love to explain. Again, I know that I'm not a novice, but most of you, this is the first time that you're hearing about this topic. So if you have questions, let me know. I will answer them in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video or inside the tag team. Bye-bye.